Movement. Music is certainly capable of moving us. It can move us emotionally and psychologically when we experience profound sensations and emotions while listening, or it may of course move us physically when we dance or when we feel the thud of a kick drum reverberate in our ribcage. But modern neuroscience has shown that there are other ways in which we can understand movement in relation to aesthetics. Quite importantly, those things we consider as beautiful are actually experienced as movement by our brains. Whether a beautiful landscape, a painting, face, melody, or poem, our brains convert them into experiences of movement. They are absorbed and then recoded into motor elements. Our brains creatively extract movement from beautiful things, even when these things are not actually physically moving. It thus stands to reason that the art that more effectively simulates movement and can produce in our minds the sensation will more profoundly affect us. Applied to techno, there is thus a distinction between those tracks that we feel are static, sluggish, depleted, and those that have a veritable sense of propulsion, directionality, and momentum. It is these characteristics that the best techno possesses. It is not an image of reality, but a dynamic life form that, despite its repetitive elements, unfolds in metamorphosis, presenting a surface that shifts, carries, leads, and directs. Most powerful techno is nothing less than a sonic vehicle, hurtling our minds into the depths of abstraction. The sense of movement produced within techno is often extreme, literally activating our motor systems and imaginations on a path towards oblivion and immensity. The movements that occur are shimmering surfaces, shapes changing their dimensions, objects pushing into and expanding the parameters of space-time. As always, it is the abstraction, disequilibrium, chaos, and instability of this movement that makes it a powerful tool of musical and political critique. The precious attributes of movement, directionality, and momentum are crystallized in the music of Russian-born, Spanish-based producer Lidvall. More than any other producer I can think of, his music precipitates mental movement. His tracks have an urgency and insistency that create a sense of very deliberately and intensely moving towards an undefined coordinate. At their core is a raw, powerful, propulsive force. Of course, much of contemporary techno is described as driving, but the extent to which this is executed by any given track varies considerably. Lidvall's music, however, encapsulates this quality so effectively it is no surprise that his music has been taken up and released by the best techno labels across Europe and the world. After several years of releasing pulverising bunker tracks, he has firmly established himself as one of the very best techno producers in the world. Lidvall has also engaged in a number of fruitful unions with other producers, having released collaborative EPs with both Denise Raba and Pyramidal Decode, both of whom I've had as guests here on Dystopia. In March 2024, Lidvall followed several of his peers in opening his own record label, which is called Smoother. So far, the label has a total of 8 releases, 2 from Lidvall himself, with the remainder coming from a range of the most innovative producers in the global techno scene. We start our conversation by talking about his shift away from exclusively dark techno towards music that is more squarely oriented at the dance floor.
Yeah, now I'm trying to make something not so heavy, not so dark, but now I'm trying to mix some kind of groovy stuff with a raw conception, with a dark conception. It was in the past I was making more darker music, but now I'm how to say, I want to go more to the dance floor music. I'm not saying that it could be like hard groove or funky style or something like this. I like funk because I was like a bass player and I was playing different types of music. But in terms of techno, in this way, I don't want to make it so happy and some, I don't know how to describe.
Yeah. I know
it's more about serious stuff, but it could be more for the dancers. because sometimes if you go so deep, it could be not so good to dance with.
Yeah. If you play the really crazy dark stuff, sometimes it's too much for people.
Yeah, and maybe it could be like 20 persons and they're very fans of this kind of music. But in general, I think the people comes on the parties just to spend time well. And 90% of them, they are not so fans of techno music, or I think it even don't know what is going on here, who is playing right now, and what kind of music is playing.
Very true. Yeah. I saw that you started your own label. Is it called Smuta?
Yeah, Smuta.
In March 2024, and I also see that a few of the other producers that I've spoken to, like Lake, Denise Raba, they have also started their own labels. So what was the reason behind you starting your label, and what's the vision that you have for the label?
So at the very beginning it was just for me, because I was thinking about releasing only my music there, but it has a sense, I would say. But also it's the way how could I express myself more, and I want to release music oriented more to the future, and it has to have something interesting that could catch my attention in the very first listening. Maybe in 3 and 5 seconds I could understand what is all about. And this is how it works, because when I want to collect some tracks for the gig, it's very complicated right now, because this is how it usually go. Just 3 seconds you could understand it could work or no. And now it's a lot of similar music, and I would like to release something oriented to the future, something unique, like I released already. I think that all my releases on Smuta could express my vision of how it could be.
And the word Smuta, like what does that refer to?
So the meaning is it's more about house. It was a period in Russian history. I think it's in the end of 16th century, when the government was very weak, and there were some civil wars and political and economical instability, and there were many groups of people who wanted to take control on the country, and it was like many people died, and it was like chaos, and nobody knows what's gonna happen after. And now I think it comes naturally, because now we have almost the same. I'm not saying that every country has a wars, but nobody knows what's gonna happen in a week or in months. And now it's almost the same. So in general, Smuta, it's like a house, more or less. Smuta, it's like a situation when you don't understand what's gonna happen after.
Oh, okay.
It's not about only music. It's in general how it could be in a natural process in the life.
And the releases that you've had, like they're super cool on the label. And the last one, I mean, I saw you've got one coming up by the God owing.
Yeah.
That looks incredible.
Yeah, he's very good, and it's very interesting that he makes his music live, and he always go with a manual in the moment. It's not like having prearranged structure. It's always with the hardware, and then he process his music with his own approach. And at the end it sounds very good.
Oh, and is it hard work for you, like running the label, or is it quite easy?
So now it's not so hard, I would say, because I don't have too much income, too much music to release. But now it's not so hard, But I need to say that it's still digital label. It's not vinyl. I want to release some vinyl stuff, and I'm working on it with a very good producer. But I don't want to open the cards right now because it's too early. But I think it could be a great release on vinyl. It will be the first one. But now it's still digital.
Where does your name Lidvall come from? Because I know that your real name is Artem.
Yeah. Lidvall is a surname of a Swedish architect who was working in my hometown in St. Petersburg in the very beginning of the 20th century.
Really?
I think it's between 1904 and 1908, more or less. And he was working in Art Nouveau style. Do you know?
Maybe. Art Nouveau, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's not like a traditional Art Nouveau coming from France. It's a Nordic Art Nouveau. It's very typical to the north countries of Europe, like Sweden, Finland, a little bit Russia, and maybe a little bit Norway. And it looks like the buildings looks like castles, but they are standing on the streets in the city, not like in a field.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very brutal Roman style, but yeah, it's
really?
a nice one. I'm a big fan of this type of architecture.
In terms of like you and your music, like what's your approach to music?
So in the past it was only with the hardware, because I was thinking about it's the only way how to produce a natural, true techno music and something like this. But now I sold it, and now I have only laptop, sound card, and my phone, so I don't have any monitors. And it allows me to optimize all the process, how to create music. And I have a very detailed template where I have all prepared already. And I work a lot with some randomizers. And I have already prepared chains, how to process music in a different way. So yeah, it allows me to save a lot of time.
Right, interesting.
Yeah, it's always about improvising. It's not about I have some idea, I want to create this one, I want to create this one. It's always I never know what it could be in the end. I think if you could imagine what do you want to get, it means that somebody is already done. It's maybe it's not only reason, but I would like to explore some new texture, new stuff, new sounds. I don't know, but yeah, it's more about improvising. Yeah, it's more interesting for me because it's like it's not about having something in the end. It's about process, and it could be very funny to search for the best combination of the rhythmical stuff, of the timbres, how it could be appeared in the structure in the track. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I noticed that a lot of your music is like 136, 137 BPM. Like you don't usually have it too fast and you don't have it too slow. It's just in that really nice kind of speed. Like you prefer making tracks that are that kind of tempo?
Yes, I have only one track, I think, that's in 142, I think, but it's too fast for me.
Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah, it's fast, but it's not so fast in general. But yeah, the truth is, I try to keep 130, 36 or 13, 38. Yeah, it's a natural tempo, I think, for us as a humans.
Yeah, right.
But the truth is, the speed, the tempo is going up right now nowadays in all the kind of music, I think. And if you want to play something in 128, the crowd could not understand what is going on here, and it could be not enough to to have some interaction with the crowd.
And again, like with regard to the mood and the atmosphere of your music, like well, first of all, how would you describe your music in terms of the atmosphere that it creates? And second, what kind of effect do you want to have on people with your music?
So the effect I would like to have, it's like some kind of meditative effect that people could close their eyes and just moving a little bit without I don't know, without going too hard, like this.
Yeah.
And I started to make techno music, I think, in 10 years ago, and it was some kind of bloom of dark electronic music. And I was influenced by pop group stuff, and it was very raw and dark. And I was thinking that it's original stuff, and this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And I tried to make my music darker, but I didn't know how to do it, because I heard a lot of different tracks with darker atmosphere, but I could not achieve it. And it was not so easy for me, but it goes how it goes. And now I don't think my music is too dark. Maybe it's deep, I don't know, because I have a lot of drones. I have atmospheric stuff, pads or something like this. Every time I try to use this kind of sounds. But now I think it's not so dark, and I don't have any purpose to keep it dark.
Yeah.
Now it's more about groove in the dance floor.
Sure.
Yeah, I was thinking about melody. It's like just the pop music. We don't have to use some kind of melodies in techno music, because techno originally it's like a sound constructor. It's not about harmonies, and it's not about melodies. It's just how the elements could interact between of them. In terms of it's more rhythmical stuff. It's not about melodies, chords, or something like this.
Exactly.
And yeah, I was thinking about it could be more interesting if I don't use any harmonies with the chords, with the melodies. And it could be like a filter, and I could attract more audience that could understand what it's all about. It's not about I want just to hear some melodies and with a great progression chords or something like this. It's just about pure stuff, like raw stuff, only rhythms. It's just it was in Africa with the drums in the very beginning.
Sure, yeah.
More or less.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like techno is more abstract and it's more about texture than musical structures.
Yes, absolutely. Techno, I could imagine happy techno. Yeah, of course I could imagine, but it's like unnatural for me.
Yeah.
Techno was always like some serious stuff, because it always comes from industrial cities like Detroit, like St Petersburg in my case, in Rotterdam or something like this.
Yeah.
And it's not about happiness, because in all of this city it was very shitty weather and rainy, gray sky, or something like this. It could not be happy.
Yeah.
But I accept that it could be like funky, because we have already some hard groove style. It's very funky, and I think it's good. It has its audience. But for me it's more about serious stuff. I think that techno needs to be more serious a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's music which is kind of like a vehicle for people to explore like the deep hidden kind of psychological, emotional.
Yeah, it's about meditation, I would say, in the first, yes.
And if it's just happy, then you're going to be staying on the surface. You won't be going too deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's true that if you go too deep, it could be not so good for the audience, and you need to keep the balance every time.
Exactly. And sometimes people can get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like
really
scared.
Yes.
The music is too dark.
But I think that we need to attract new people to this scene, and if they come here on the events, and if they listen some very complicated stuff, very dark, serious stuff, it could be not so good for them, because they could imagine it in different ways. But I'm like a teacher. I need to to explain how it could be. Like, and I'm interested in attracting new people to this scene.
That's nice.
And, yeah, I think it has a sense.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
And I need to be oriented on them.
Yeah, true. You have to make it welcoming for people.
Yeah.
Not scare the shit out of them.
Yes.
True. Recently on Instagram, you mentioned that you had a not such a nice experience with one of the record labels.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, we could talk about it.
Sure.
No problem.
So it was with Modulars, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a vinyl release in the very beginning, but I think that developer didn't like that I wanted to get paid at the very beginning, because now it's just my job and I don't want to make it free. And he asked me to make some stuff for his label, and I replied him that I want to get paid. And I think from this point it was not so good for him, because he is very experienced artist on the scene, and I think that he didn't expect that some kind of this artist like like me could ask for the money at the very beginning from the label like Modulars. It's a very famous label.
Yeah.
And I think that all the problems starts from this period, from that moment. I don't like how he works, how he managed his label, and I heard many different things from a lot of artists that you know. They are very famous artists, and they have the similar problems with him. And I'm not the only one, but nobody wants to talk about it in Instagram and in the internet.
So what was actually the main problem that happened?
The main problem is I think he is very arrogant, and he has, I don't know, big ego, and he don't want to. I think he only wants to get music and to sell it, and nothing else. He don't want to discuss artwork with the artists. He don't want to discuss even final masters with the artists. And I know the first time about the date of release just in a week in advance, and I think it's impossible to work normally in these conditions.
Yeah.
It's not good, because it's like a disrespectful for artists, and I don't want to have deal like this.
Yeah. So you submitted your music to him, and then he just went ahead and released it and did the artwork without really talking to you.
Yeah, he took my music and he started to sell it, and after my post, I decided to take down release from the platforms on the Beatport. I think now it taken down from all the platforms, from Spotify, from Beatport, from Bandcamp, and yeah, I think it's like a finish of this case. Because I don't want to be like fool guy. I don't know how to describe, because somebody wants to earn money on me, and he doesn't respect me. I think it's not a good way to work.
Yeah, I agree. You have to have some self-respect.
Yeah.
I talked with another producer, and he had a very bad experience with Jeff Mills.
Yeah, I know him.
Yes, exactly. And that, because Jeff Mills, I mean, for me, and you know, obviously he's like a god, and and then when you realize that he's not being honest, that's a bit of a shock as well.
Yeah, and many people think in the same way. And when I was younger, I thought the same. I was thinking like, all these guys, they are like gods, and but they are just the people with the problems, and with different problems, with the psychological problems, with the ego problems, maybe with the problems with alcohol or drugs. Yeah, it could be in a different ways. But now
Yeah,
you need to know who to work with.
Yeah, that's right. And they also, I mean, they probably know that they have power.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
they can take advantage of people very easily. Yeah, you've released EPs across like most of the really, really great European techno labels. Is there anything else that you're wanting to achieve as a producer, or how do you see the future for you as a producer?
I plan to release my music on my own label because of the money, because of the conception, because all the stuff. But I will keep sending music to big labels. Maybe now I've sent my current stuff to Clockworks, and I want to see what will happen, because I like the conception. It's like something every time something unique comes out from Clockworks, and I think it's a very high level. And of course, I would try to get in labels like this, but mostly I think I will release my music on my label.
Okay, I'd like to thank Lidvall very, very much for taking the time to have a chat with me on this episode of Dystopia. And now we will move into a 30-minute mix of his best tracks, curated and mixed by myself. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks.